In this video, we're going to be breaking down the following typical themes for the Slav defense. How to equalize immediately against one of White's most common lines. How to get an interesting game against the exchange variation, because a lot of people are afraid to play the Slav thinking it might get to dry positions. But I will try to prove the opposite. And at the end of the video, we'll be punishing a quick F3 move in the opening. Opponent opens up with D4. Can we perhaps get a Slav? That would be amazing. Let's see, playing the ultra solid Slav. Gonna be taking on c4 against knight c3. a4 is like main line now for white. He plays e3. I think can just play like b5 against this, and yeah, like a4, b4. Some of these lines, yes, pretty well known. Trying to like actually think about the moves before I play them, but I remember looking this one up, and I think here either e6 or a5, it's kind of the same. Try to like understand the differences, but I think both moves are like okay. And like the thing is, we're giving him this pawn, but we have a very simple setup. I mean, I'll just show it on the board rather than explaining it. So how do we do this like precisely? I don't think it makes much of a difference. Bishop b7. I think maybe it's like important, but I have a feeling that we're just gonna be setting up the pieces like this. a5, bishop e7 castles, we're breaking with c5, and just like easy equal game. But maybe there are like some small move order tricks that you need to be familiar with, which I haven't really looked at. So he's hitting the pawn, can just defend it. That move was part of the plan anyways. He's trying to like reroute the knight. I guess I'm just gonna be continuing my stuff here with castling. It's like really nice to castle normally, and then we'll be breaking with c5. Maybe c5 was doable even now, but no need to like rush with it. And yeah, like this is coming on the next move, and we've got a very sort of nice equal position to play. And some of you may be wondering if you can still play for a win for like this kind of situations, and I think the answer is totally yes. I think c5 is okay. Was wondering whether to take or not. It looks like c5 is a bit better. Maybe it's not that big of a difference. Also having 94 ideas in mind, but I'm not really, rushing to capture that bishop, since it's like not the most active bishop in the world right now. I think we can put it that way. Yeah, I mean, I really like this position. It just feels like we've got the like perfect setup. I mean, bishop b5 looks kind of questionable, because if I take with a knight and he takes, that looks like losing a pawn. And if he has to like take with this pawn, it's gonna leave us with a majority. So I think that was a mistake by him. Like 95 taking is very good. Maybe even this is not a stupid move, hoping for the one mover. But I mean, the idea with it is that we're avoiding knight c6 stuff, so this could be a problem, and with queen d5 we're stopping that. And he has to play like I mean, maybe he just goes knight back, so that's not really good. Okay, gonna be taking the free pawn. If knight c6 would just take and play like rook c8, we're up a pawn. Life is good. So ed, I think we're completely safe after queen d. And knight c6 is sort of the same story. Take it, and maybe even rook d8 in that position, because we're hitting the bishop on d2 this time. Okay, we do see bishop c6, which is yeah, kind of interesting. Pretty much inviting me to take, so then he will be able to like regain that pawn. I'm not seeing an instant way to refute it. Maybe like the simple queen d7, knight d4, and then we have rook f d8, and it does look pleasant for me. Is there like a way to go super greedy? Thing is, I don't really like to be greedy, and I'm just gonna be sticking with the simple approach. Maybe there was something better. I don't care, okay? I'm just gonna be playing my Slav equal, slightly more pleasant position. I mean, I'm happy with that, with the black pieces. Definitely, this is my kind of game. Okay, I mean, even if it's symmetrical, let's say he takes on d4, we have a more of an active position. I think it's like really instructive to see how you win this kind of positions where yeah, it looks like there's not much going on, but I feel like we just have free pressure and we don't really have any risks as in some of the more complicated lines, where you can like miscalculate something and then could get ugly. There's not really anything to like miscalculate in this position. I don't really have a huge threat yet because like e5 he's got knight f3 and then e4 he can just go back to d4, but I think I could start with knight e4 and then this is gonna be more of like a serious threat. So queen e2, I can still play knight e4, but I'm really like expecting rook f d1. That would be a nice move for my opponent. Do I start with e5? Because like knight f3, maybe I can play some kind of queen d3 move there, and if we trade, putting pressure on the bishop, if rook d1, then I can double up. Seems annoying. I think I like that. Not sure it's good, but I'm gonna go for it. So yeah, like knight f3, again, you have many good moves in this position. Okay, like queen anywhere, like defending the pawn is fine. This looks fine. But I think queen d3 is kind of annoying, like really annoying. Because we trade queens and we're like putting pressure on this bishop. I might be wrong, but this just feels very unpleasant for white. And he also doesn't really have a good way in avoiding queens getting swapped. So, rook e1. Well, I don't really need to rush with it, because then he can like take it and hide with the bishop on e1, but that's the thing. I'm not gonna be allowing that bishop to hide on e1. That's his whole kind of gameplay right now. So I'm just gonna be playing knight e4, putting pressure on that. Big threat of taking. This kind of only move, I guess. And then I'm thinking to simply take and play rook d5, defending and preparing to double up, and the rook on d1 is undefended, which means he can't unpin and we might be winning somehow. I went a bit Hikaru mode with the arrows there, but hope that was clearly explained. So we see rook d1 as expected, and yeah, now we do takes that way, and if we could just play like rook d5, rook d8, and he's like never gonna be able to unpin himself, which is like amazing. I think he's just like in a zugzwang, and then we just like slowly push, can even just go g5 and then like that. He's still like defending, okay, he's still like surviving. Okay, he's gonna do that, I knew it, but just imagine I can play b3. I think that just wins on the spot with bishop there. So like b3, he's moving the rook to like c1, but then like knight e2 followed by bishop b4. He's got rook d1 as an only move, but then e4. He's completely stuck. I mean, I don't think he can ever survive that. So we start b3. That's like important, because with so many arrows, I confuse myself and I'm sometimes just making a random move. So like b3 is the thing here, yeah? And then just this, bishop b4 and zugzwang pretty much. Or otherwise, if he doesn't run anywhere, okay, knight g1, but that I guess is just, he's probably just trying to set up back the pieces. He's taking it one by one, rook goes there, bishop there, pawns, and he's just gonna do that, I guess. He's not just like bishop b4. Okay, I mean, I can take and then like trap the exchange, but I want to get like the zugzwang position, so I'm gonna be playing bishop b4. I'll just show you the zugzwang. I'm hoping knight f3, and then I just want to show you the zugzwang. He's got like no moves. Yeah, okay. Just gonna be taking space. f5. Slowly improving. This feels so nice. Okay, g5. This is a threat. So like thing is, I don't want to play g4 and win the piece. I want the opponent to like run out of moves. But like g4, you can just take it, and yeah, like he's got no moves. This is such a nice position. That's like pretty much how you win symmetric positions, okay? If you're like ever afraid about this kind of lines because they are drawish, well, just imagine you could be getting there without really doing much. So I think this is a pretty nice outcome in the Slav. 95, finally, trying to escape the zugzwang. He's literally trying to escape the unescapable. I guess just knight e2 is winning the house here. I just need to hold it. No need to blunder in this situation because it would be something else to like spoil this game. But I think this is just winning the house because knight f3 is coming on the next move. So I mean, anything was winning, but this feels to be the most accurate. And he also presses the resign button, which is nice. Alright, we're getting the black pieces against 1758. What's up with d4? Let's see if the Slav is still holdable against the 1758. I think that is actually the highest rated player we faced so far during the rating climb. So we do see the exchange variation, and against knight c3 I have like a secret gambit. Should we play it? Let's give it a try. It's like too fun not to play it. This is not really gonna be the main line that I'm recommending against the exchange Slav, but I think this is potentially like a very fun one. With d4, that is like the point. By the way, in this position when I play e5, white has an interesting alternative of playing e4. But this and now the idea was to go, I think queen a5 check. And like the critical line is when they play knight d2, but most of the people play bishop d2. So let's see. So we see bishop d2, just queen e5, they play knight g3. Generally we develop, and it's actually not really that much going on after like knight f3, queen e6 or something. I think that's how the line goes. I think it was knight c6, because like bishop g4 simply has h3. So I think it's knight c6, and then they play knight. And I think you can go like anywhere with a queen, literally. I don't think it like really matters. But like queen d6, or like queen d5, I remember being probably my main line. And then there's this line with e3, we take, then we trade queens. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. They play like that. That's like one of the problems, because if they play the main line with knight d2, that is, I mean, leading to a small edge for white with best play, but the position is like really unbalanced and tricky. But now it's getting a bit dull, which is okay, I guess. Those positions are like equal, the ones that we're getting after this trade. Remember we can take, but was wondering maybe if I can play bishop e6. Also remember checking that move. Just gonna go for that. So it's gonna be like interesting seeing the Endgames in practice. Maybe I was supposed to give a check on b4 first. That was maybe important. Yeah, he plays a3 because he doesn't want his pawn to be hanging there. Can just develop maybe. And if bishop d3, there seems to be bishop c5 or like rook d8. I think he was supposed to maybe trade queens first, because now if he takes on d5, we're taking with a knight. But I might be wrong. I'm like new to these positions. This is actually first time I'm getting it on the board. Opponent plays queen a4, which seems to be an interesting way of avoiding the queen trade. And if I play like bishop c5, which would be ideal, he has some rook d1 move. That's what he's trying to say. Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that I should just go queen b3 and kill all the fun. Trade queens and yeah, play that position. Because otherwise, if he gets rook d1, it can get ugly. Because I don't really want a castle. Maybe I have rook d8 as a move. Like rook d8, bishop b5. I don't really see like a great follow-up there for me. So I think just queen b3. Yes, his move doesn't allow a queen trade, but I can force one with this, I think. Yeah, so we see the bishop there as expected. I don't think we can really take such pawns, so just trading queens and centralizing with bishop d5 seems just fine, because this could be a little bit annoying even though his bishop is quite valuable, so it would be nice, I think, even if we get it in that fashion, but just this. Keeping an eye on the knight, defending this one. I had checked to force queen trade. I mean, I don't want to misplace the knight. That's correct, but not really that desperate to get queens off. So okay, I mean, this is interesting because it's trying to create a weakness, but looks to be hanging a pawn to me. And I'm taking those pawns in like this endgames. I mean, he still has some compensation, maybe knight f5, but I have g6, and what is like next move? I don't get it. I think he just like blundered or like forgot about the pawn. But I think position was objectively around to equal. Okay, now rook c1, simply defend rook c8. And king d7 may be fine since he doesn't have any way to punish it, but okay, this is probably normal. Maybe he wants b4, but then maybe like at least a6. And this, I think we just trade. Could even take with a b pawn, but I think taking with a bishop is just fine. And after it takes, we take with the rook. He's not forced to take, but I guess he will. Oh, I forgot about the pawn on a7. Gosh, that was so terrible. What have I done to this position? I guess that there was like no way to avoid it at this point. Yeah, I wanted to like take e7 for sure. Wow, I've seen that. I should have seen that like a while ago. But okay, I mean, this is now getting more interesting. Yeah, I don't think I could have stopped that, by the way, so maybe I'll have to do this. It feels odd, but might be the best way to develop. Okay, h5 bishop d4, it's annoying, and then knight f5. Because like the idea is to activate this rook via h5. But like h5 he's got there, and then if h4 he has knight f5 and hitting this pawn. That is pretty ugly. But like g6, bishop d4, bishop g7, knight e4, I mean I'll have to play king e7, it's still not my dream position. Yeah, the position is like incredibly weird. I think we can agree on that one. Gotta be playing the g6 move. I think he's just fine if we play g6, but I was hoping maybe we could keep more pieces. But I mean, I guess rook and endgames are like completely fine. And like knight e4, just king e7 seems perfectly fine. Maybe I'm a bit over optimistic, but that is just my nature, so I don't think we really need to play knight h5, so just king there. And now, I mean, I could even take, because maybe that's kind of stupid, because the bishop's generally dominating the knight in these endgames, but he's not that clear. And okay, maybe we can like do something with this position, even though it's gonna be much easier to push as white, I feel like. But I think probably we're the ones playing for a draw here. I think maybe best is to put the rook there, stopping his pawn. And then, yeah, we can try to push our pawns. So I guess I'm just gonna be playing like this, and then we'll try to maybe just g5 now, it's good. Don't really get rook e3, it's not like, I mean, he's kind of cutting me, but I don't think it's achieving much. Just g4. Pretty much just want to advance. So yeah, he's gonna be running his king to c5, but I have rook e6 there. That was like the plan. Maybe I can also try to stop him or like slow him down a bit, but I'm not sure we need to. I need to be a bit careful though. h4, king c5, rook a6, b4, king g5. I think this is okay for me. Just defending. Maybe he wants this, but not sure if it's like fast enough. Can also keep rooks on the board, and maybe also I can trade. Yeah, that's what he's going for. Just king there, making room for this. I think we're faster. That's like my feeling, but I might be wrong. And I think we're faster because he's probably gonna take there. Or maybe not. So we take f5, a4, f4, a5, g3, a6. I mean, we can trade. Yeah, I think we kind of have to. Oh, I'm queening with check? What? Okay, so he shouldn't take. He should just push because I'm queening with check. But I'm like better then. If I take on f2, I'm just better. Okay, so he takes, but now I guess he didn't realize I'm queening with check. That's kind of funny. But not sure I'm winning. Okay, I guess I'm not winning. Because there's king b7. And I have no checks. Like, this is so unlucky. I have absolutely no checks. Ah, this is unlucky. Queen a7, but I mean, that's maybe even lost, no? I don't think we can go for that. Yeah, I guess we just like trade pawns now. Okay, I mean, I've got a trick. Let's see if he takes. Maybe I'm still better. I'm actually still better. He can't take my pawn. I'm still better. Okay, queen b5 and this is like game on. But how? c5. I'm afraid he can perpet, but okay, whatever. Ah, king d6 forcing draw, but queen b6. This is funny. This would be clutch if we actually manage to win it. Okay, king e5. I don't see a reason not to play that. King d4. I just need to hide now from his checks. Okay, king c4. Or even c3. I don't have much time, but I guess it should be enough. Wait. So king b3 now, so he doesn't get king b2. I mean queen b2. And now there. And like meet the next check with c4. Oh, can take that. Wow. That was a nice one. Wow, okay. I mean, not really the way I wanted to win this endgame, but I find it so nice that we managed to win that with a pawn. Opponent opens up with d4. Can we get another Slav defense? That would be really nice. He goes e3, knight f6. Okay, let's see what opponent has in mind. He's got some kind of f3 setup for us. That is a new one, okay? How do we deal with this? I have absolutely no clue. There's like a super concrete line that comes to mind, which is taking and then e5, but I'm like not sure because we go queen a5. But queen's making a lot of moves, okay? I don't think that's ideal. Is this the main line? I don't think it's in this position. It looks... I'd be shocked if this is like a line in this position. But I think you're just trolling me with that. I think I would have noticed it. I don't think like this is GM move, by the way. I'll check it after the game. So we can do like a Meran. We can do many things. I could do like a Fianchetto for you. Bishop f5 just doesn't seem that appealing, but maybe it's okay. I think this is definitely a very interesting line though. c5 feels supernatural and just like kind of challenging the situation in the center. There's like cd. Okay, then cd, he's got e4, we have e5, or maybe e6. Yeah, I think we're gonna be playing c5. Okay, I know like bishop f5 is kind of most thematic for our series, but I think going c5 against this super specific f3 move is like the way to punish it. And yeah, I've been like calculating this line, taking, he goes e4. Then I wanted to play like e6 because of queen d4, there's knight c6, just getting a lot of tempies. Goes for the check, I think can block with the bishop. In like some lines, this is also a move, and then just try to play e6, b5, but I think bishop is okay. Taking with a queen, e4, e6, I think it's gonna be played for sure. DE and then maybe FE, although I think we're gonna be going for the gambit. We can give this one away. I feel like he's got a lot of weak dark squares and he's kind of behind in development. I think black is maybe slightly better already. And yeah, now on queen d4, you could definitely take, but I think just better to throw in this move, gaining an additional tempo. Like this is really common for like the Grunfeld positions, I would say, when you like sack a pawn and then get like a lot of compensation for it. Yeah. Knight c6 is definitely best move in the position, and then yeah, it's still a question whether he can finish development or not. Gonna be taking the pawn now. He takes, and then I think we'll try to like keep queens on the board and take with a knight. Yeah. Okay, we see e takes on d5. Just gonna be going knight e5 as I was saying, and maybe perhaps even playing for long castle. Yeah, so that is like a very fair point. Like in this position, whenever we can get bishop into c5, going to make it impossible for white to castle. But even if they manage to castle, it's still like white is not completely out of danger, I would say. So like here, there is definitely an idea of taking, because it's forcing him to create a weakness, because queen c3 runs into like bishop b4, and we're like pinning him if he takes with a queen there. But yeah, still considering my options. Like I don't really have that many here. I think we're just gonna be playing like slow chess, taking on c3. Even though maybe the position's asking for more, like a queen e6 and then long castle. But like queen e6, queen e2 is still an idea. He can force queens off if he really wants it. Thing with long castle is that he's just gonna trade twice on d5. And then that still looks like slightly better. But okay, I mean, I just want to teach you clean strategical chess. Just creating a weak pawn and then how to use that as a target in the end games. And thinking to fianchetto this bishop, could also put it that way. I think fianchetto is fine. Maybe this is also like an idea, trying to keep his king in the center, but I'm like trying to evaluate still. I think throwing this check in is very useful, forcing him to make a decision. And if he plays knight e2, this means he's not gonna be castling very soon because of the knight hangs, and then can simply go g6 maybe. Fianchettoing, if rook b1, just king c8, because like king c7 runs into this check on f4, yeah. Just there. This is big threat now. Has to like sidestep. King is like really safe here now, and rooks are also coordinated, so would have been a disaster to have the king there with the rook there. Maybe not disaster, because we would have been in time with this maybe, but yeah, I told you he's not gonna be castling very soon. Well, I was wrong, because he did. But we do end up taking the knight, and he also resigns. So, yeah. Well, I think that was a good decision there, by the way. Gonna be quickly checking it. I think taking on c3 was maybe best. And also, like, I like this c5 move where we try to, like, punish this f3 move. No, f3 can't be a good move. I'm just gonna be opening up chess base right now, just to check it. I think it's not in this position. Maybe I think you're like confusing it with something. I'll show you what I think you're referring to. No, f3 is like never been played. And like knight c3, bishop f5, neither this. I think you're like confusing it with this lines. I think like going e3, knight f3, bishop f5, knight c3, 6. I think you perhaps have something like that in mind. Thanks a lot for making it this far into the video, and if you're looking for more content, make sure to check out some of the previous episodes from the same series.